All right, so I happen to have girls, right? You happen to have 3 granddaughters, right? But you also raised 2 sons. Give me a couple of pearls of wisdom for men that are raising sons, and things that, as you look back on, the things that were successful in your life, and the things that weren't so successful in your life. Just give them a couple of pearls of wisdom about raising a son.
For me, it's having fun. Is not trying to make my son be me. Finding what they like and having fun. For me, it was first special just to watch y'all grow up. You love fishing, Jared hated it. You love baseball, Jared did not like it. Jared liked wrestling, Jared ran cross country. And so I think that for me, I just want to be a father who watch my kids laugh and run and play and just be a part of it. So I never wanted to try to make y'all be anything other than to grow up and experience life, to make some mistakes. And for me, just to be there to, if you need me, help you, or to, to be that sounding board that you can always talk to.
Yeah, as I look back on my childhood being raised by, I think the first thing is be present, right?
Absolutely.
I think there was one time I caught running a business, not a small business anymore, it's a pretty major business. Your time is stretched. I remember coming to you one time and I said, Dad, I think it was pretty recent. I feel like I want to be there more. I feel like I'm not present. And the one thing that you told me was reflect back on when you were being raised. Was I not there for the important things, right? And every important thing you were there for. But I also think in your absence, it taught me a whole lot. It taught me how to be a responsible business owner. It taught me how to be responsible in the community. I was with you a lot of the times during the summer, cutting grass. I was with you, going from property to property. I remember the first business that you had, which was cleaning commercial buildings.
That's correct.
And I remember dumping the trash can. That was my job, right? And I learned so much being there with you. I think sometimes fathers, they have this life and then they have this life, when it all should be kind of intertwined. Like, I think as a son, it was so important for me to be there with you on site. It was so important for me to see you. I remember writing out receipts with my mom and licking and sticking and getting stuff out. Like, those were moments that so many lessons that are important for me now were taught.
Well, for me is, I saw from my father, my father was a good father, but we didn't go fishing. That's a lot of things that we did not do. My father worked a lot and things like that, although I did too. I just want to do it differently. I want not only to, when that truck rolled up in the yard, it's not a question who was driving the truck. And I remember many times y'all running, Dad, 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 and even if I had downtime, I remember one time, 2 guys came out of Harp and they wanted to go fishing, and they said, hey man, today is nice, let's go fishing. I said, nope. I said, I'm gonna spend time with my boys today.
Right.
And they said, oh, they used the term henpeck at that time.
Henpeck.
Henpeck.
We don't
use that anymore. I said, nope, I'm gonna spend time with my boys. And I have no regret. One of the things as a father, in our home, it wasn't that your mom, I cooked, I cleaned, I washed, I sewed, I ironed. It was a team effort. And I wanted y'all to know that and see that. And it wasn't that it was a woman's job to do this or a man's job to do that. Now, I didn't allow my wife to go ahead and cut grass, of course not. But when it came to doing things in the hearth or around the hearth, I was right in there, and I wanted y'all to see that. And I also wanted y'all to see that although I worked a lot and I worked a lot of hours, But when I had downtime, I wasn't out in the street. I was home. I was spending time with y'all guys. We were going places. We were doing things, and you know, the amazing thing where I was a young father and grew into being a older, responsible father, and I took it very serious. Yeah.
I think it's funny, and as you talk about that, and we'll end this up real quick, there are a lot of fathers who weren't necessarily as present as they should have been in the beginning, or they didn't know what they should have known in the beginning, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it up, or you can't change, or you can't evolve. So I think number one, those fathers need to forgive themselves, right?
Absolutely.
To understand that you're growing just as well as your kids are growing, your relationships are growing, and understand that there are points and times in a son's life that the father's going to need to be more present. And as he gets older, those are the times when the father really needs to be there. He needs to be mature, and he can talk from those mistakes that he made from a more realistic situation, just from a more honest perspective that will resonate with sons in a way that I think will change their life and prepare them to be a father for the next one. So I appreciate you showing me the model, right? Not only telling me, I always tell you this, not only did you tell me, but you showed me, right? There's so many fathers, they do one or the other, right? They're showing, right? And they won't tell them, right? Or they'll tell them and won't show them. I think you did a great job of showing me both. So I appreciate that.
Well, I think the most beautiful thing is, I look at it now, and the reason I have a great relationship with my boys is because I didn't have to create the wheel when I got older. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew then if I lived long enough, what kind of relationship that I could have with my kids. And, from building, we're here now and we're not strangers, and I'm grateful for that. And I took it very, very serious. And like I often say, you're my best friend, and Jer is my best friend, and my kids, my boys is very special to me. And just to watch y'all become responsible men to your daughters, and I look back on it now and say, wow, now look at that. Is because whether we honest with it or not, it has a lot to do with what you see when you're coming up. The influence made you decide what kind of father you want to be, or what kind of husband you want to be. And not only that, but what kind of friends you want to be to your friends, because all that play a role. So even the friends I had was friends that was the type friends that were responsible for their kids. So, I didn't just let anybody in my circle.
Yeah, I remember it's one thing that you told me was that if you're going to do business with someone, watch how they treat their family, watch how they treat their kids, because if they treat their kids bad, then they're going to be bad business partners to you.
Absolutely.
If they treat their wife bad, then they're going to be bad business partners to you. And it's one of the things that really is outside of everything I look at first. So.
Absolutely.